Into the ropes and off. A flying tackle by and a rock kick and Buddy Rogers. Oh, he's caught him up there. That canvas pretty hard, and look at Buddy going to work now. Oh!
Hey everybody, it's Durgertime. Thank you for joining me today for another episode of Total Extreme Wrestling 2016, Billy Corgan's NWA. So we just got done our pay-per-view, New Horizons, sort of a new plateau for us, I suppose. In it, we had a title change with Nick Aldis having taken the belt from Cody. We had actually several title changes as well. Sasha taking it from Tenille for the women's championship, and War Machine taking the belts from the Best Friends. So a lot of changes, and this is what this episode's mostly going to be about. We are going to book a show, but it's going to be about changing the show around a little bit, and because we're really not going anywhere. Is sort of the issue right now. Is we're not progressing. We're not building up anywhere. We're still losing money. Actually, we're losing more money now than we have been in the past, by a pretty wide margin. I'm trying to see where it's coming from. I mean, it's just overall just a lot of expenses. So, obviously, we have some people leaving, and that's going to cheapen it up a little bit, but we're going to go through our roster, see if we can cut some people. I also want to make some changes. I think we're going to end Starrcade, because this is a new horizon. We're going to change our show, and within that, probably the layout of the show is going to change a little bit. So that's going to be kind of the focus today, is changing that up, getting it prepared for sort of the next hurdle for us. Now, in terms of pay-per-views, we're in June. We have nothing scheduled right now. So we had to set up a new thing, and we have nothing really set up till September, where we have the Super Cup, but we'll have to set something up now. So let's go ahead first, and what I want to do is go into our broadcasting. Now, we're not going to change who our broadcasters are. Obviously, we're in a contract right now, but we're going to modify the show and its format, its details. So it's going to be NWA presents Powerrr. So, which is basically the show that they are running. We will do an hour. We'll keep it at an hour, I think is fine for now. Keep it on A. Now, I might want to change where it's located. Not where it's located, but what time it's located on. Let's check our calendar. Tuesday has... everybody's got something someday. Is sort of the unfortunate part. Looks like Mondays might be the best for us. Charlotte Flair is going to be joining us soon. Daniels is on his way out. So let's go ahead and switch it out to Monday. Can I do it from here? Nope. Okay. We'll go back to broadcasters. So let's edit that details. We're going to held on a Monday. I mean, we could show it on a different day. It really doesn't matter, though. I'm curious to see if that matters more in TEW 20 when it comes out. If I'm really hoping that as the new game comes out, obviously we have a lot of information about what's going to be in it already, but I would really like to see a little bit more of the nitty gritty in it. I've always been a fan of the sort of backstage stuff. It's fun to book things, but it's a lot of fun to have to manage all this stuff. And if they can get deeper detail in there, that would be fantastic. So we have Powerrr in 6 days. Now, we need to strip this roster, is our issue. This means we might not get our match with Daniels, unfortunately, for Icarus, because it doesn't seem like he's available. So, we have too many people. we have a lot of wrestlers. Our ideal wrestlers are 20. We have 44 on staff. So that's part one of our problem, is we just have way too many people. We have to probably limit it. I think in product, we can see... thought there was a way to see a broader breakdown of what you should have, but I guess not. But either way, we just have a little too much. So we're going to go through, we're going to make some tough decisions. You know, we do this from time to time. We sort of future endeavor some people. And we're just going to get rid of some people, and we're going to try to get down, I think... Let's look at 35. Let's see what 35 looks like. Minimum number is 20, but more can be better. But it means we're also paying out monthly contracts for no reason. So let's look. Let's start in the highest division. Okay, Daniels is gone, so we don't have to worry about that. Callahan's still here. Osprey's still here. And Dustin's here for 82 days. And we can make a decision whether we want to keep him or not. But I don't think there's any cuts that are needed here. Upper mid card, let's take a look. Pillman and Spears. We just got Spears. Reasonable price, 1,000. It's not bad. Jay White, 1,000. Page is maybe overpaid. Wouldn't hate getting rid of him, but we'll go back. Trent, Chuck, and Hansen, I think we can all keep, though they're a little higher priced than maybe we need. Janela is probably also a little higher priced than we need in the mid card. Freeman, Storm, PJ Black, Josephus, Icarus, Hero, Bull James, and Verna. I think these are two we can just toss out now. I'm also inclined to just toss out PJ Black. I think at this point, don't really need him. We don't really use him. When was the last time you were on a show? You were on... He was on last show and I think he was in the Rumble. So we can toss. We can just get rid of him, I think. Where do I go for that? I always forget where this goes. I think it's under contract. Yep. All right. We will toss. We can toss anyone at any time because they're pay-per appearance, so it's not the end of the world. Who else were we talking about here? Let's see. Bull James and Verna. I think those are easy get rid ofs. Verna, we're not doing anything with. He's annoyed anyways, so we can just get rid of him. And Bull James. He's got a friendship with Candice LeRae and Adam Page. Fine, we'll keep him just to make him happy. I'm sure we could do something with him. It's not like he's costing us that much money. But there's someone in the mid-card we can get rid of. And now, I'm not going to get rid of Josephus or Tim Storm or Nick Aldis. We had kind of talked about that before. I consider them the legacy NWA. I want to keep them around as we change things up. Chris Hero, I think we'll keep. I think we're fine here. Maybe a little bloated in the mid-card. Lower mid-card's probably where we have our biggest bloat. Jacobs, Wentz, Kevin Condren, Marshall and Eric, Ryan Nemeth, Raymond Rowe. And then we have down here in our openers and enhancement talent, we have Nakamura, Kaholoon, Russell, Reigns. Looking here, I think our lower mid card's not horrendous. I think Jimmy Jacobs is a little overpriced for where he is on the lower mid card. I think we can get rid of him. So Kevin Condren is not doing great, but he's still a young lion. And he doesn't cost much. So even just as a jobber or just filling out the lower card, I'm not that concerned with where he is. Same thing with like the openers. We're not paying that much. I might get rid of Ho Ho Loon. We don't really use much. Let's just toss that. We're just ripping the roster to shreds. That's how it goes. Let's see. Let's see here. My gut says Rowe and Wentz can go. Or not Raymond Rowe. Wentz can go. Rowe, part of War Machine, we want to keep. But Wentz, he's a young lion. Very strong performance, though. I haven't done much with him. You know, let's keep him around for the price he's at. I mean, might not be bad. We're at 40 wrestlers right now. So we'll keep him. So let's see. Is there 5 more we can cut? Women's division is maybe bloated. Now we have Flair, Banks, both higher priced. Valkyrie we just got. Xia Brookside. Delilah Doom. No, I think we're fine here. Maybe Viper, but we'll keep her for now. So that might be it in terms of cuts, unless we want to get really aggressive. Well, we could probably get rid of Russell and Rain. Really not doing much here with them. Performance is strong. Nah, we can get rid of them. Just trying to find the people we really don't use much at all. Randy Reigns, same situation, though. He has a tag team with Bull James, but we can kind of toss that. He's got strong performance, though. Strong all around. 5-year pro. He's not going to get better that much, but he might get more popular if we push him. Let's keep him. Maybe that's a project for us. Maybe we decide we want to push him a little bit. Cody's out in 42 days. I think we can just let him go now. Unless he wants to sign back up. I don't think he wants to. Huh. Is he willing to negotiate? So explain this to me. You wanted to leave, said you were too big for us, and now you're willing to stay. How does that even work? That's interesting. It's really interesting, especially considering he was furious at the booking of New Horizons. And yet, but here you're everywhere. I know it's crazy. I don't think I want Cody anymore. I think we did what we needed to do with him. I think he's on too many shows. I think it's just too much for us, and not having a commitment. I mean, how many days he's pretty much working everywhere all the time. I'm not going to fire him. I'm going to let his contract expire. Let me know in the comments if you think we got a couple episodes to worry about it. Do we keep him? Do we pick him back up? He's once like 35. He's gonna be more expensive than anybody else on the roster. I don't know. I don't know there. That one I'm just really not sure. Daniels, I think we just have to let expire because everyone's gonna be upset. And there's no reason to. We can just let him walk out. So that's where we're at. I guess 39. I mean, it's better. And we got some people we can move into tag teams if we need to. Things like that. We're keeping our women's division strong because we're having issues in the past with having reasonable. I mean, we have probably maybe one or two too many, but with injuries and things like that, it's probably okay where we're at here. Probably fine. Man, it's really interesting that all of a sudden he's way okay to jump back in. I mean, before he was saying no, right? I'm too big for it. Apparently he's not. Apparently, did having the belt make him think he was too big, and losing the belt actually got him back into control? Because that would be kind of hilarious. Very weird. Very, very weird. I'm not sure. All right. Well, so we got Powerrr. Let's go ahead and go to Powerrr. We've kind of groomed down that roster a little bit. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to change from Starrcade to Powerrr is I want to change the format of the show a little bit in terms of how we book it. Change it, just tweak it a little bit. And just to kind of indicate that we're doing something a little bit different. I'm going to keep it also within the reality of NWA now. Obviously, NWA shows Powerrr right now, and it makes sense to kind of run it that way. I'm not quite sure all of the fine points of how we want to run the show from point to point, but maybe just tweaking it a little bit would be helpful. And obviously we're going to be starting a whole batch of new storylines right now, so having a nice fresh show might also just kind of get that feeling of kind of changing up the madness, I suppose. So let's go ahead and let's get to that madness and take a look at what we're looking at. Okay, let's take a look here. Regional battles, we ended in 6th. New Japan's making offer to Sammy. I'm curious what that offer is. And they got extensions of their deals. New Japan dominating the annual so far. Not shocking. But that's where we're at. We do our show tonight. Nothing crazy is happening, which is good. We do have some minor morale issues. Not a big deal. And Charlotte Flair will be available tomorrow, unfortunately. Her last show at Raw is tonight. So we can kind of bring her in then. So let's go ahead and get towards booking it. Okay, where are we going to be? Still the fairground. And nothing in terms of major locker room issues. We have some people that are annoyed, right? Other factors. I'm trying to remember who was upset, but I should probably look over here. Jay White. Let's just try to do a rib. See, so 30% chance of improving locker room morale, 10% chance of improving upsetting the target, otherwise 50% and shoot improving their morale. I think the further up you go, it's like minor ribs like the only one that has a chance. Otherwise, it's 50-50 basically. Like you 35% chance of improving their morale, otherwise either 25% chance of upsetting them or improving their morale, which could go either way for you. He's irritated. He's annoyed. Let's do a practical joke. Instead of being upset. So, cool. We just upset him. Sure, that worked out fine. So, let's go ahead and book. And we'll start to set up some new storylines as we build our first episode of NWA Presents Powerrr. Okay, and we're back. So we got 65 minutes ready to go. We do have going to get a penalty here because we do have more matches than we have for promos, but I literally can't do anything about it, and you'll see why with how this show is booked. So let's go ahead and check out the first episode of Powerrr. We start off with Billy Corgan entering the ring and welcoming everybody to the new format and the new show. It does fine. I mean, he's not great at anything, unfortunately, so it's what it is. Afterwards, we have, in the middle of Corgan's introduction, much better rating here. Pinky George comes out with his new cronies that we saw at the end of the pay-per-view. So Callahan, MJF, Tim Storm show up. And basically kind of surround the ring a little bit, harass Corgan, and he tells him that he's not just going to let his favorites get away with murder on the new show. Points accusatorily at Billy Corgan. Seems to think that basically all the people that are really good on the show are just handpicked by Corgan behind the scenes when he's booking it. And he says that I'm still the founder, and this audience deserves some action on our debut night. So, what he sets up is a beat the clock challenge, and the winner will face Aldis tonight in a championship match. And it's very clear what he's doing. What he really wants to do is push Aldis's buttons, push Corgan's buttons. He knows Aldis is sort of Corgan's guy, and he wants to give him as much pressure as possible. And of course, he's probably going to stack the challenge with people that he feels can give him some competition. Gets the crowd hotter. People were fantastic there, and we started the Founder's Quest for Control story. And we have an announcement saying who's going to be in the match. So it's going to be Sammy, Spears, Pillman, Hero, Wentz, and MJF. And very clearly you have Callahan and MJF kind of being his made men, if you will, if he was running a mafia, and clearly are going to be there to kind of cause some trauma. Gets a C-, does great. Zachary Wentz debuts his new gimmick, Cocky, and he gets a legendary gimmick change. That's fantastic. And we gain some heat on that Quest for Control storyline. We start off with Sami Callihan versus Wentz. This is a hell of a good match for how bad Wentz is in the ring. 8 minutes, Sami Callihan defeats Wentz with a lariat, got the crowd hotter. No improvements. I guess mostly this is just Callahan kind of carrying this. Afterwards, we have an announcement saying the time to beat officially by the timekeepers is 8 minutes and 45 seconds, which is Sami Callihan's win. So if you've never seen a beat the clock challenge, I mean, sometimes they do it in different ways. Sometimes they have like a type of match where one person has to go through all these people in a certain amount of time. This one's more of a, I feel like you see this more in old days, like old territory days, but basically you have a bunch of people wrestling, not in a tournament style, but just individuals, and whoever wins and gets through their match the fastest basically wins the whole thing. It was kind of a way to, on a single show, have a tournament without having to have booking consistency. And that's what we're kind of doing here. Instead of setting up a whole tournament, we're just kind of doing this one little boom, one shot kind of situation to move it along. And, crowd likes Callahan, got B- here. Looking good. Early performance here seems great for our ratings. We dip a little bit here. We have Spears versus Hero in 9 minutes. Well, this is 9 minutes total. That includes the entrances and stuff. But we'll have the kayfabe actual number at the end of this because, secret to wrestling, the numbers are always fake, so it doesn't really matter. Match is poorly placed. The crowd was already hot. This was a work the crowd for the next match. I wanted the Pillman match to be a little more brutal, so it was a little bit more of a hot match, and we kind of wanted to build it. I didn't expect it to get hot already. That definitely gave us a penalty. That's fine, though. We could deal with it. So 45 Spears, 47 Hero. Meh. In the announcement afterwards, because Spears has no popularity, I guess. Spears' official time is 9:55 and does not beat the clock. So it's down to the next match, Pillman and MJF. Pillman defeats MJF in 7 minutes or something or another by pinfall with a tornado DDT. He has a 53. MJF has a 33. Gets a D+. And the official time is 8:33, and we'll face Pillman will face Aldis during the main event tonight. So he ends up beating through the competition. It was clearly kind of stacked against him, probably pissing off Pinky George in the process. And we have a pretty good match here, actually. They're pretty evenly matched. Great heat, good wrestling. Pillman defeats Aldis in 11 minutes by pinfall with a fast roll-up. Kind of ends up eking a win out there. And Pillman wins the NWA World's Heavyweight title. So 1 week after Aldis defeats Cody, Pillman wins the match and actually gets to be the NWA World's Heavyweight title champion. And the tensions rise. The Quest for Gold storyline starts here. Aldis has a 64. Pillman had a 59. C- is pretty good, and we lead to our final event of the night, where afterwards, I'm sure you probably had predicted this was happening, Pinky's gang surrounds the ring, not content to let Pillman get the win, and Pillman's beat up, brutalized for that match. I mean, he had a very close, even match, and he had to kind of just sneak a win out against Aldis. And Tim Storm brings in his Founders Championship, cashes it in. The group beats him up before the ref even gets there, so he's even more beat down. And once the ref comes in and the championship belt is cashed in, he very quickly hits his finisher, pins Pillman with a quick 1, 2, 3, and Tim Storm, using the cash in, becomes the world's heavyweight title champion. Pillman's performance was fantastic. MJF performed poorly, which is interesting. Quest for Control gained heat, and Tensions Rising gained heat. No improvements. We end the show with a 63. We end the show with an interesting area. We have people that basically got their belts stolen from them. Pillman won fair and square. Aldis was probably tired from the last night. He just barely lost. So you have two people now very much in contention, and Tim Storm having stolen the title. We get a D. We needed a few more segments here, unfortunately, but I think overall, not a bad showing. It definitely sets sort of the story progress, I suppose, of where we're going to be moving forward. Now that we're moving out of the Cody era, what does NWA look like? And there's some fascinating things here. There's some matches in here that were a hell of a lot better than I would have expected. And obviously, like, Sammy carried that. But, we definitely have some options here of where to go. And we kind of set up a major story beat tonight with the first episode of Powerrr. All right, let's see what we got going on. Charlotte Flair officially joins NWA. Hulu is unhappy. And we have a .03 rating for our first show of Powerrr. I think that went well. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that. Happy also with worker expenditure down a lot more with that show. We're still in the red, but not as much. So that's pretty good. I think we can probably start turning that around. But that's kind of the new, not necessarily a format for the show, but it's sort of a new direction. And there are some other little things I want to do with Powerrr that's different than Starrcade. And we might do a little bit more of a New Japan style presentation, a little bit more tournaments, a little bit more maybe points based. Not necessarily that AEW wins and losses, but maybe just more like just a little bit more structure than a less WWE. Even though I would think that was a pretty sports entertaining night for certain. But we're going to change some directions around and definitely start moving things up. I think that was a great night for Pillman. I wouldn't be shocked if he's still upper mid-carder. But I'm sure he's... Yeah, I don't know for certain. I don't know if you lose your belt in a storyline, if that negatively affects you. But I think everyone's happy. Pillman, Aldis was happy to lose the belt in that match, actually, which was kind of surprising considering he's considered a main eventer, and I don't think he's overpushed. No, technically he is. So, that didn't hurt us at all. We might have to redo our main event scene here and do an auto push and see what it looks like. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Let's see what exactly we have. So Paige, Aldis, still main eventer. Cody, Dustin, Daniels, Callahan, Ospreay. Still pretty much the same for the most part here. And Tessa Blanchard's still injured. So, not too different, it looks like. Pillman's probably on the cusp of going from upper to the main event. And we'll have to see where it goes, but I kind of wanted to leave an interesting dynamic now of you have Pillman having won, now in the annals of having won the NWA championship, and then immediately losing it in the most classic Dusty Rhodes ass booking I could do. And obviously you have Aldis that is very likely very much in contention and probably the likely rightful heir of the belt. And obviously Tim Storm's there, probably very happy right now. But we have to remove him from the Founders Championship because that is now vacant. We will vacate the title. And we now have that situation of you have basically a Money in the Bank element that can be floating out there that means anyone can cash it in. Tim Storm's held it for a while until finally cashing it. We don't really know what this means, but we do know that his stable clearly is going to be working for him, making it very difficult to get that belt off of him. So kind of an interesting dynamic. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys like the direction that we're going in. I think it's going to be pretty fun to book. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you next time.